Hey guys, Mustafa here. So I found this cool wooden pallet over at the dumpster and we've all been quarantined, and so I had a great idea. I'm going to turn it into a coffee table, and so I figured I'd make a quick video on how I'm going to do it and show you guys kind of a little bit about the process, and that way maybe if you're bored, you want to do something yourself, you might as well do it too. So just going through real quick some of the stuff I got. The pallet, obviously, I got for free. I found it at the dump. It's just a regular 36 by 40 inch pallet. I got a couple paintbrushes. I got some wood stain. I chose a dark walnut. I got some paint. I just got like a lighter color. I'll show you guys what it's painted on. Some 2-inch nails. I got a couple different types of sandpaper. I got some coarse one just to help kind of rough out the edges, and then some really, really fine one. I didn't have a saw, so I went ahead and got a miter saw. I got a drop cloth just so I don't dirty up the apartment, and some gloves so I don't get any splinters in my hand or anything. I also got some extra pieces of wood. These are 1x4s. I got them at the Home Depot. They're regular pressure treated, just like the plywood. So let's go ahead and get started. The first piece that we're gonna do is sanding down the pallet. I'll show you in a second just how we're gonna do that. All right, so got my palette here. I took some gloves, gonna throw those on, and I've got my really, really coarse sandpaper. So what I'm gonna do is basically just sand this down, all the pieces. Basically what I wanna do is smooth out any of the rough edges, get rid of any of these large splinters and all these divots. And it doesn't need to be ultra fine. I just wanna go ahead and smooth it out so there's not splinters hanging out everywhere, because we're gonna be staining this and painting this later. So I'm hand sanding this, so this is taking a lot more time than I really wanted to spend on it, but that's okay. But I wanted to show you up really close what exactly it is that I'm trying to do. So maybe better show you this way. You know, it's not completely smooth or even by any means. It definitely is used because you want it to have that type of you know, that distressed wood look to it. You just don't want it to have any sort of splinters. That's the main goal that we're trying to achieve by sanding it down. Nothing else other than just making sure that like a lot of these edges and things like that aren't super sharp. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up sanding the rest of these and then we'll get started with the next step. Alright, we're done sanding. It took way longer than I thought, but I think it's because I was doing it by hand. I just kind of want to show you what I mean by it. If you can see, you know, nice and smooth. There's no, you know, splinters coming out. I rounded down all the different edges. I, you know, went ahead and smoothed out all the inner pieces. Basically all the sections that people are going to touch, you know, the outer edge of the actual coffee table. So the next step now is going to be to put the stain on. So let's do that. Alright, so we've got our palette laid out here. I went ahead and dusted it off from the sand. I sanded the whole thing down, got everything smoothed out. We're going to be using, so I've got a dark walnut stain. I just got this from Home Depot, it was like $8. So what we're going to do is, I've got all my supplies here. So we've got the stain, I've got a nice little brush for it, and I've got a hand towel. I just found like an old shirt. We'll stain it, wipe it down, leave it for about 2 hours, put on another coat, and then I think we're going to leave it overnight so that it really soaks in and dries up, and then tomorrow I think I'm going to paint it. So let's get the staining so you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Perfect, so just to give you an idea of what we're doing here, we just kind of dip the brush in, it all off, and then you're going to basically just paint the wood like you would. Really get it nice and thick on there. I like to go with the grain just so that if there are any streaks that kind of form out of it, it really forms really easily. So. Alright, so we're done with the first coat of color. As you can see, this is what it looks like. This honestly looks really good. I'm gonna debate whether or not I'm gonna put a second coat on it. If I do, I'll show you what it looks like with 2 coats. Otherwise, I think this is pretty much it. We're gonna paint this tomorrow once this thing dries up, and we'll then do the next step. So I let it sit overnight. It's fully dried. Here's what the color kind of looks like. We are now gonna go ahead and set up, and we'll start the painting. I got my paint supplies, got everything set up and ready. Got the tarp, same tarp I used when I did the staining. I just pretty much reused it. I got my stirring stick. I just got another regular brush, a plate so I can kind of hold the brush with it and the paint. And then the paint that I got like a classic silver, but it's really just a really, really light gray. I got a gallon of it. The palette actually is 144 square feet. So lady recommended only a quart. This just happened to be the same price, so I got a ton more of it. I went with an eggshell color too, so they're shinier options like semi-gloss and full gloss. I went with the eggshell because I want something more of like a exhausted look. So it's, it's supposed to be like an older farm table, it's supposed to mock that kind of look. I went with something not so glossy. So let's get started. I'll show you kind of painting in a little bit. Okay, so first steps first. Got our paint. Put some a little bit on the brush. You could have a tray if you wanted to. I'm just going to use this plastic plate just for lack of supplies. Just dip it in there. Grab my plate. And I want to give you these broad strokes. You don't have to be really smooth. Remember, this is supposed to look abused, and we're going to be sanding a lot of this down. So I like to I'll make a lot of with the grain movements. Just go through that. Just like that. So it's totally painted. I got the front, the back, and everything like that. And what we're gonna do is let this dry. I've actually ordered some hairpin legs. There's some like nice little metal legs. I got them on Amazon. They're not gonna be in for a couple of days. So we're gonna let this dry, let this sit for a while. And once the legs get in, we'll go ahead and install those. And that's pretty much it. So, okay, so it's been a couple days. The legs are finally here. These are what they look like. We ordered 4 of them, 3" by 3". Ran into a slight problem. So when we go to install these, if you can kind of see, there's some that lean over the edge here, just like that. And I want to make sure that it has a totally secure footing on the actual table. So what I did instead is I had some of these, I bought some extra just in case. Some of these strips of wood, I got them, they're 1x4s. I got them at Home Depot, super cheap. I think it was $2 for like a huge piece of this. So what I've done is I've measured it out. What we're gonna do is cut them to the length of these bottom ones. We're gonna paint it so that it's got the same color and stain to it. And then we're gonna install them, and then we'll put the feet on, and hopefully that should solve the problem. Okay, so gone ahead and nailed on those second pieces right there and right there. Just put one nail each side. Next step, we're just gonna screw those legs in and we'll be just about done. All right, legs are finally on. So we'll be tipping it over soon. Well, there you have it, guys. The table is finally complete. Come on in, I'll show you. So this is the table, 36 by 48. You can kind of see the rest of my house. It kind of goes with the aesthetic. We went with like a lighter gray theme with it. You can kind of see the legs underneath, the hairpin legs. It's pretty sturdy, it's not going anywhere. There is some width between the slots. You know, we were kind of worried about that, but we have some coasters and stuff. I'll put a phone, it sits just fine if you want to put a laptop or something like that. Or plates and all things like that. So totally cool. Took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Mostly just because I was waiting on stuff to come in and just had other stuff going on in my life. But super happy with it, and I hope you guys like this video. And I'll be back with another project soon.